everybody, hello and welcome. For those of you new to my channel, my name is Apostate Alex. I used to be the Director of Public Book Sales at the Church of Scientology in London, and now I'm working to try and raise awareness of what's really going on inside Scientology. And if there's one thing Scientology like to exploit, it's not only a riot like we talked about yesterday, but it's an international sporting event like the Olympics. Now, if you've been following my channel, I've been covering Scientology's plans to distribute 1 million Truth About Drugs booklets throughout Paris and the rest of France during the Olympics. And Miviludes, which is the French government arm that looks after and keeps an eye on cults and sects and coercive groups, have issued a warning. We covered it in a video previously where they basically say that the Scientology, in fact, I'm going to quote it. Miviludes has received reports relating to an association, No to Drugs, Yes to Life, which is taking advantage of the Olympics to promote the Church of Scientology under the guise of drug prevention. Miviludes encourages the greatest vigilance. Miviludes have been watching Scientology very closely for a number of years. Scientology, let's not forget, has been found guilty of fraud on more than one occasion in France and a host of other horrible offences, including, I think it's wrongful death or manslaughter, something of the like. Now, I've been keeping a very close eye on this distribution campaign, and it turns out Scientology are using children to promote their Truth About Drugs campaign. So today I'm going to share some of the photos from the behind the scenes in Paris and around France of Scientology engaging in this campaign. And I'm also going to cover a story that just broke regarding Tom Cruise and his expected appearance at the Olympic closing ceremony in the next few days. But first, hello to Vault Digger and hello Golden Astro Cat. From a poet, Brian Lucas, and power lies to paralyze. Thank you for joining. Welcome. Hello. So let's have a look first off at what Miviludes, the French government, have been saying about this unprecedented distribution campaign. This is a tweet, the one that I just quoted. This is another tweet from Miviludes, where it says the Church of Scientology is carrying out a vast promotional operation on the occasion of the Olympic Games, in particular by posting flyers of the No to Drugs, Yes to Life Association, which it sponsors. Be careful, our press release is online. And this is the press release. I covered it previously in another video, so I won't read it out here, but it highlights every single one of the convictions Scientology has found itself guilty of, different crimes in France, and basically calls Scientology out for trying to exploit the Olympics as a recruitment opportunity for what is considered officially a cult in France. Now, it's not just Paris where Scientology have been distributing these Say No to Drugs, Yes to Life booklets. One thing to note is these booklets are based on zero scientific evidence, zero medical expertise. These booklets are produced by volunteers, in inverted commas, at the Church of Scientology, who do not know what they're talking about, and it is based on the fiction and the research of L. Ron Hubbard in the 1950s. It is not based on scientific information, and it is therefore dangerous. But here are some pictures of the volunteers in Lyon, in Toulouse, in Angers, and in Nice. Now, one thing to note is these so-called volunteers all look pretty old to me. There are some people who are obviously middle-aged or younger, but look at the number of seniors in these pictures. There are a lot of older adults here giving out these booklets, with the exception of Paris, which we'll get to shortly. One of the things they've been doing in Paris is using the band, the Jive Aces, to distribute these booklets. Now, the Jive Aces are a swing jazz band that are fairly well known in the UK. I believe they were semi-finalists of The Voice, which is a talent show here in the UK. But one thing a lot of people don't realize is the Jive Aces are all Scientologists. The Jive Aces have signed 1 billion year contracts dedicating this whole lifetime and all future lives to working for the Church of Scientology. They are members of the C organization. They are not a normal band that go out and do their thing because they're musicians. Yes, they are talented musicians, but they are only doing it as an opportunity to promote Scientology and their front groups like the truth about drugs. They live in Sea Org berthing, they are paid £50 a week, and they are provided with all of the meals and accommodation that they supposedly need by the Church of Scientology. They are a promotional tool, and they were used at the London 2012 Olympics in a very similar fashion as they're being used in Paris. Here they are posing for a picture in front of a French landmark, and what they've been doing is playing music atop this big red bus that's been driving through the streets of Paris with their adverts on the side saying the truth about drugs. People walk alongside the bus as it journeys through the city and hand out these leaflets, while the jivases sit or stand on top of the bus playing music for all to hear. It certainly is a good marketing campaign. It's just unfortunate that what they are marketing is a human trafficking, child abusing cult. They also hired a barge to drive down the River Seine. I say drive, maybe sail is a better term, but this is a picture of the volunteers on top of their boat that they sail down the river that runs through the center of Paris. And of course, this is nothing but a photo opportunity. Scientology don't genuinely care about helping the people of Paris. This Truth About Drugs campaign is just one of their front groups. It is organized by the Department of Special Affairs, or OSA, the Office of Special Affairs, which is the higher up organization. It is a PR activity, and the whole reason they are doing it is because they want to come across as a legitimate organization that benefits the public. Let's not forget, Scientology is considered a cult in France legally, and Scientology failed to prove a public benefit in the UK when they were rejected charity status by the Charity Commission in 1999. The reason they have these campaigns is solely so that they can come across in a more positive light and show that they do care about people and they are actually helping the benefit and the local people of Paris. It is just a photo opportunity and nothing less, nothing more. Now, I mentioned older people in the pictures earlier, and this is what makes Paris different. They are using children. Now, if you are a follower of my channel and you've been watching my videos for some time, a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, I shared a video of volunteers in Crawley, I think it was, here in the UK. Similar campaign, Truth About Drugs. Scientologists were using children to hand out these leaflets, and the whole point is no one's going to say no to a kid. They are doing the same thing in Paris, and here is the photo evidence. These are two children dressed in Scientology Foundation for a Drug-Free World t-shirts and caps. You can see there handing out their French Truth About Drugs booklets. These photos have all been shared publicly on Facebook and other social media groups, and that's why I'm sharing them here. These were posted by the parents and by the Scientology group themselves. They are showing off the fact that they have these children handing out these booklets. Now, let's not forget, children cannot consent. If you're a child, you're going to do whatever you're told. And it's just sad that these children think that they are doing something good for humanity. They're doing what their parents have told them to do. They're spending the day handing out these leaflets. They're probably giving out quite a few because adults aren't going to say no to a kid handing them a leaflet. It's just sad to think that these kids are also behind the scenes being forced to do things like the Purification Rundown, which is a dangerous program. Again, we covered in a previous video. Talking of photo opportunities, here are a group of volunteers outside the Sacre-Cœur, which is a big cathedral in Paris, a major landmark. And notice, it's not pictures of them handing out leaflets, it's pictures of them posing in front of this landmark because it is nothing but a photo opportunity. Here are some volunteers once again outside the Stade de France this time, which is the main Olympic stadium in Paris. It's just a stone's throw away from the Scientology Ideal Org that opened in April. What they are trying to do is come across as a legitimate organization that is somehow involved with the Olympics. By giving out these leaflets directly outside Olympic venues and landmarks, they are trying to come across as some sort of legitimate volunteer organization that has got the approval of the Olympics organizing committee to promote their cult. That is not the case. Here's another picture of a bunch of French volunteers standing on the other side of the Seine, but posing for a picture in front of the Eiffel Tower. Now, I mentioned in a previous video that the reason they're doing this is because they want photos like this so that they can publish a press release and show just how wonderful and how proactive the Scientology group in France have been and how they've played an integral role at the Olympics. Let's bear in mind, it's just a photo opportunity. And that's why they're standing there in front of the Eiffel Tower, is simply so that Scientology Media Productions can get a good shot of them waving their flags so it can be played at an international event led by David Miscavige. Here's another picture of the Scientology volunteer approaching some children and asking them to sign a drug-free pledge. I've got another picture of this here so you can see a better close-up. What this is a common tool Scientology use where they say, do you pledge to not use drugs and stand against the use of drugs? And what they do is they get this big poster and ask people walking past to sign their pledge. And they're asking children here to do so because it's easy. They're just asking for their name and the kids are going to go, yeah, sure, I'm not going to use drugs. And they sign their name. And what they do is they then take a picture of this and all the many signatures and again, use it for promotional reasons to say, hey, look at all these people that support the Foundation for a Drug-Free World. In actual fact, all they've done is been asked to sign this little poster. It doesn't mean they support Scientology. They don't know that this is a campaign sponsored by and run by the Church of Scientology. And what they've done here very carefully, again, because it's a photo opportunity, this person here on the left who is signing this pledge is actually a volunteer for the Paris Olympics. This person is an official, real Paris Olympics volunteer. Yes, they are wearing a turquoise shirt, which looks like the Truth About Drugs shirt, but I have studied this and a couple of other pictures, and this is just a coincidence that it's the same color. This color shirt is the official Paris volunteer t-shirt, and it's just coincidentally the same color as the Drug-Free World t-shirts. This person is wearing a Paris 2024 bib. And again, the reason this picture has been taken is so that Scientology can use it to say, hey, look, we have the real Paris Olympics workers engaging with us and supporting our work. Isn't this wonderful? This person has no idea that they are being used in this way. Yet another picture. This was taken from someone's Facebook page where they posted, this is a very proud mother showing her two sons who are teenagers in the Drug-Free World t-shirts, wearing their berets, again, posing for a picture outside the Eiffel Tower. I believe this picture was actually taken on board the ship that we saw earlier that they were cruising down the Seine in. I believe they were standing on the rooftop when this was taken. And this is a picture of some volunteers outside the Notre Dame. Again, they are posing because it makes them seem like they're doing something official. And again, here are some more volunteers outside Notre Dame. They are taking up these positions, I will say it 100 times, only so that they can get pictures. They don't care about helping the people of France. And most of these leaflets that they're handing out will end up in the bin. Miviludes, the French government, who keep a very close eye on sex, are very closely watching Scientology's activities. And they have reported to the Pharmacy Association in Scientology in France that Scientology are not to be trusted because what they were doing is giving these leaflets out to pharmacies across Paris. Questions. Vault Digger. Does drug-free also mean not using aspirin, ibuprofen, etc.? That's a very good question. Now, Scientology are not completely anti all drugs. If you are in physical pain and you need medical attention, there is nothing in Scientology that says you can't have the drugs that are prescribed by doctors to you if you need them. They are not completely anti things like painkillers if you really need them. but they should be avoided at all costs. If you have a headache, for example, you wouldn't just pop an aspirin or an ibuprofen or a Tylenol unless you really, really needed it, because Scientologists believe that painkillers numb you entirely and numb your spiritual awareness of what's going on. So it's not just a targeted thing that helps you with some pain relief, it actually dumbs you down and takes you away from present time. So Scientologists generally will try not to take things like that unless they're absolutely necessary. When people are signing this drug-free pledge, I don't think it specifically says painkillers. It just says try not to take drugs, which most people take to mean illicit drugs or illegal drugs. Philip Jones is in the house. How is it going? Thank you for joining. Philip says, then Scientology will say they've gotten millions of kids off drugs because they've signed their names saying they won't. Exactly. This is one of their statistics Scientology use for promotional reasons. If they can get 100 signatures on this pledge, they can say that they've managed to get 100 people off drugs. There's nothing that's involved in this process where Scientology say, do you currently take drugs? Now you've signed this. Have you now stopped taking drugs? And that would be getting someone off of drugs. But what Scientology do is they actually just say, hey, sign this pledge, and that's someone gotten off drugs, even if they never took drugs in the first place. It's just a PR campaign. And let's not forget, Scientology inflate all their figures too. They are saying they're giving out 1 million booklets this Olympics. I wouldn't be surprised if that number increases. I saw something the other day saying that they've been so successful at giving out these booklets that they're going to raise the target to 1.25 million over the course of the Olympics. They definitely would have given out a large number of these booklets, but 1 million seems like a little bit of a stretch to me. And Scientology always like to inflate their figures. Now, moving on very briefly, still within the same topic of the Olympics, is Tom Cruise. Now, it's been reported fairly recently that Tom Cruise has received a knighthood in France by the culture minister. I think it was a knighthood of arts and letters, something along those lines. He has been spotted at a lot of the Olympics games events that are going on. And news leaked the other day that suggests Scientology have their hands in the Olympics a little bit more than perhaps we'd like to that we would like to admit, I suppose. Tom Cruise is going to apparently be skydiving in or abseiling into the Stade de France for the closing ceremony. And this has got a lot of people up in arms. The reason he's doing this is because LA, Los Angeles, is the next host city for the Olympics. And part of the closing ceremony is a handing over of the Olympic flag from Paris to the next city, LA. And Tom Cruise apparently is going to be a part of this. And they filmed some stunt where he was abseiling down the Hollywood sign back in February or March. And that's going to be played as a pre-recorded part of the event. And it was announced the other day that Tom Cruise will be here. Will be in Paris as part of the closing ceremony, and it has really pissed off a few people. Golden Astro Cat here says Tom Cruise uses free slave labor from, and I'm guessing you're going to say Scientology. Yes, you're right. Scientology provides Tom Cruise with workers for his, for his house and for his, management and for his general assistance. They are Sea Org workers that have signed billionaire contracts to dedicate their life to working for Scientology. And they end up working as Tom Cruise's assistants and helping renovate his house and so on and so forth. Tom Cruise is Scientology's poster child. He is the most famous Scientologist in the world, and he is benefiting from Scientology's slave labor, and that is atrocious. And that's why it's a problem that Tom Cruise is going to be used at the Olympics closing ceremony. Now, this is an article on France 24. There is a link in the description down below. I'm going to read it through. It's not very long. Tom Cruise at Olympics would be a disgrace, say French anti-cult groups. Now, this article is from AFP, which is the Agence France Presse, I think. It stands for French Associated Press, basically. Anti-cult activists have condemned the likely appearance of Hollywood actor and well-known Scientologist Tom Cruise at the Paris Olympics closing ceremony on Sunday. Here's a picture of him at the Olympics. While his attendance has not yet been confirmed, the Mission Impossible star is widely expected to be a part of the game's final show, angering a French umbrella group for cult victims. The simple fact that we are talking about his presence is an insult to victims, said Catherine Katz, a former French judge who heads up UNADFL or UNADFI, sorry, a group dedicated to defending victims of cults. It really is a bad message. Charlene Delporte, the president of Victims Associations CAFS, called it a disgrace. Anti-cult activists like Katz and Delporte accuse Scientologists of recruiting outside Olympic venues, including the Stade de France north of Paris, which will host the closing ceremony. They are very present at the big sporting events. They will no doubt reach many young people. I am very worried, Delporte said. The movement describes itself as a religion, but is considered a cult in France. Milieuds, the French government agency tasked with dealing with cult movements, said it has received reports of a Scientology-linked no to drugs brochures being handed out across Paris. While the 30-page leaflets do not explicitly mention the Church of Scientology, the campaign is connected to it via a Scientology-sponsored organization, the Foundation for a Drug-Free World, Katz said. They are sock puppets, he told AFP. If you don't know who they are, you can fall for their grand values. They say they're here to help drug addicts, but in fact, it enables indoctrination. Milieuds said the flyers even turned up in some Parisian pharmacies. We worry that this could be a proselytizing approach that has nothing to do with prevention, its chief, Donatien Levalion, told AFP. The agency warned against the risks of psychological destabilization, exorbitant financial expectations, and people being split from their families and friends associated with Scientology, whose members have previously been convicted of fraud in France. The movement opened a centre in Saint-Denis, where the Stade de France is located, in April. And then it goes on to talk about Church of Scientology, having John Travolta and Tom Cruise as members. It claims between 40 and 45,000 members in France, but one expert estimated the figure was more likely to be in the hundreds. Hubbard was sentenced in his absence to 4 years in prison for fraud in France in 1978, according to Milieuds. 2 of the movement's main structures in France were also convicted of fraud, extortion, and racketeering in 2013. AFP attempted to contact Scientology, the European head, for comment, but they are yet to give it. As a former Scientologist myself, I can confirm that Tom Cruise making an appearance at the closing ceremony of the Olympic Games in Paris 2024 is insulting and disgraceful. I can't speak for other Scientologists or ex-Scientologists, but from my personal experience, from my view, seeing someone like Tom Cruise trotting up on stage and playing a key role in an Olympic Games, which is all about freedom and equality and sports and good sportsmanship, all of these things that the Olympic Committee stands for, seeing Tom Cruise walk up on stage and being a part of the closing ceremony is absolutely disgraceful. Church of Scientology, of which Tom Cruise is a part and a major poster figure for, this church is abusing people left, right, and center, and it is considered a cult in France. It has been convicted of fraud. It destroys people's lives and rips families apart. It is not acceptable in any way, shape, or form for Tom Cruise to take such an important role in the closing ceremony of the Olympics while he is a part of and promoting such a dangerous and harmful organization. Now, I can't speak, as I said, for other ex-Scientologists, but if you're watching this, you're an ex-Scientologist, comment down below or in the live chat if you're here live and let me know your thoughts. I don't think I'm alone in this. I personally think the Olympic Organizing Committee have made a huge mistake in doing this, and I hope to God, if there is one, really bad term phrase to use, but I do hope that they do reconsider this before it's too late, because it's not a good look on the Olympics. Nisa here is saying, comment USA, by him doing that, he has taken the spotlight away from the athletes. Yes, absolutely. And he is also allowing and enabling further abuse. Scientology are looking for any and all opportunities to be seen as a legitimate organization. And by having big organizations like the Olympics Organizing Committee engaging in prominent Scientologists like Tom Cruise in their closing ceremonies, all they are doing is providing further evidence Scientology can use when it tries to claim legitimacy. They don't realize that they are being played and they are being used. Hal Gear is saying it's revolting. Exactly. Betsy Sue here. I'm late, but greetings from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Thank you. Welcome. Philip Jones. Tom freely applies Scientology's disconnection practice with his own daughter. 100%. And that's something to consider. It's not like Tom Cruise is just a celebrity who happens to be a Scientologist and is now taking a role, playing a part in the closing ceremony. Tom Cruise has actively disconnected from his daughter, who has recently dropped his name after turning 18, and he didn't attend her graduation or anything like that. And he has nothing to do with his own daughter's life because he has disconnected from her because her mother, Nicole Kidman, is seen as a suppressive person. Halgear, God in the general sense of some good universal power. Yeah, exactly. You got it. Vault Digger, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome. Thank you so much for your support. Golden Astrocat, for me as an ex born into Scientologists, it is totally unacceptable, disturbing and distressing seeing Tom Cruise used in the Olympics. Exactly. As an ex-Scientologist, there is a lot of stress and pressure and difficulty people find when they come out of Scientology. And it's a very difficult step for them to start speaking out publicly about their experiences. Not everyone wants to do that. I've made the decision to create a channel and do what I can as an activist. But a lot of people just leave Scientology and want to go about their everyday business. But every single person who has ever been involved in Scientology has been under their control coercively and has been affected by this coercive control and has been damaged and abused mentally to one level or another. Everybody Scientology engages with is harmed. Some people have their families torn apart. Some people have their finances destroyed. Some people have their whole lives destroyed. Anybody who is an ex-Scientologist is going to be struggling or has struggled in the past at some point with the recovery and healing process. That is almost a 100% given. Some people leave Scientology and go about their life and don't have many struggles at all. Fantastic. Great for you. But Tom Cruise doing this at the Olympics sends the wrong signal to victims and survivors of the Church of Scientology. It does not send the signal that they are being listened to, they are being heard, and justice is being served. What the Olympics are doing are actually platforming one of the worst abusers in the Church of Scientology. Philip Jones, you mean Katie Holmes is Suri's mum? Yes, sorry, Katie Holmes, not Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman is the mother of Bella, who used to be a public at London Org when I was on staff. Thank you for the correction. Absolutely great points in the chat. Guys, it's only a short one. I just wanted to bring this to you. Leave a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. Before I go, I want to play you a little video, actually. Leave a comment down below if you're watching this or if you're in the live chat. Let me know what your thoughts are on Tom Cruise and his role at the Olympics closing ceremony, and the fact that this anti-cult movement has come together in France and said that it was a disgrace that he's taking a part. My head is all over the place today. My words are getting mixed up. I'm so sorry. Words are hard. Let me know what your thoughts are on these anti-cult movement groups in France coming together to denounce Tom Cruise's involvement in the Olympic ceremony. But before we go, let me share this with you. I posted this video on my channel earlier. Obviously, I've shared the photos with you, but there are also some video clips of Scientology's distribution campaign. So I'm just going to anti-drugs bus in Paris, and you can see where I mentioned that Jai Vase is standing on top giving out people giving out booklets. The Jive Aces are playing music from the top of the bus. This is video footage, again, posted on social media. I believe this is in Saint-Germain, which is just south of the river in Paris, near the Opéra station on the metro. Let's fast forward a little bit. This is a video taken on board the bus as it drives around Paris by a Scientologist. You can see that's the Jive Aces there playing their music. And you can see all of these volunteers dancing around wearing their berets. And let's not gloss over those two people with cameras from Scientology Media Productions, because all they're trying to do is get footage for their PR and marketing. They also had some break dancing going on by the Louvre Museum. Again, wearing their t-shirts. There are going to be people handing out these flyers and leaflets. They're just trying to get attention and great footage of them doing these PR stunts with crowds of people watching them. And this is the same people doing the same dance outside the Arc de Triomphe. So if you want to watch this and see the photos in full and spend a little bit more time looking at them, there's a link down below to the Scientology Business article. That's my blog where I've posted all of these photos. The video is on the videos tab on my channel, so go and check that out if you want to. Let's look at these last little comments here. Golden Astro Cat, thank you, Alex. You're spot on. It's very triggering to seeing Tom Cruise, cult Greek, put on a pedestal. Exactly. They are platforming and promoting one of the most prolific benefactors of Scientology abuse. Halgear, I'm just baffled that some committee thought it was a good idea. Me too. Joe Raz and her alien dog. Hi, I haven't caught a live of Alex. Well, hello, you've caught one now. Welcome. Thank you for joining. And Betsy Sue, is that band really the Jive Aces? And they're performing on top of a Decker bus. Oh my gosh. Yes, 100%. It's the Jive Aces. And yes, they're performing on top of a double-decker bus driving through the streets of Paris. They are now back from their trip. They were only there for a day or two. And yes, they are all Scientology Sea Org members who have dedicated their life and all future lives to working for the Church of Scientology. Power lies to paralyze. Thank you for focusing on the photo op reality. No problem. Thank you for tuning in. Oscar D, and Alex versus Scientology dance off in the future. Absolutely not. I am not very good I did go to dance classes as a kid, but I am not by any stretch of the imagination a dancer. Catherine Olsen, thank you so much for tuning in. Wow, the Jive Ace is still going strong. Yes, they are getting old, but they are very much still one of Scientology's big promotional activities. They actually go on tours around the country and play in quite prestigious jazz and music venues and festivals all around the UK. They do try and come across as a legitimate band, but I am almost 100% certain that all of the money the Jive Aces make through ticket sales and such goes directly to the Church of Scientology because they are Sea Org members. And one thing that I haven't covered on this channel, but I do intend to very soon, is East Grinstead Town Council, when they received a donation from the Church of Scientology towards the Chequer Mead Theatre in East Grinstead a few years back, that money actually came from the Jive Aces bank account, not from the Church of Scientology. And I have the screenshots of the bank statements to prove it, and I will be covering that very, very soon. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to support the work that I'm doing and help keep this channel going and help pay for things like the hosting and the cybersecurity and all of that and the streaming software for Scientology Business and my channel here, you can buy me a coffee with the link down below. There's also PayPal, that sort of stuff. But the number one most important thing that you can do and the most effective thing you can do to support me and my channel and help get the message out there is to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that sort of stuff. I really do appreciate it. That's it for now from me, guys. And don't forget, I'm on war footing and I'm not fucking about.